Okay, today Keanu is going to be reading. I'm going to be reading Helen Keller. Thank you, Keanu. Careful on this. I'm going to be reading Helen Keller, chapter 17. With Keanu. In the summer of 1894, I attended the meeting at Chattanooga on the American Association to promote the teaching of speech to the deaf. There it was arranged that I should go to the... There it was arranged that I should... Where am I? Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, chapter 17. In the summer of 1894, I attended the meeting of Chattanooga at the American Association to promote the teaching of speech to the deaf. There it was arranged that I should go to the Wright Humanisson School for the Deaf to New York City. I went there in October 1894, accompanied by Miss Sullivan. This school was chosen especially for the purpose of obtaining the highest advantages in vocal culture and training in lip reading. In addition to my work in these subjects, I studied, during the 2 years I was in school there, arithmetic, physical geography, French, and German. Miss Ramey, my German teacher, could use the manual alphabet. And after I had acquired a small vocabulary, we talked together in German whenever we had a chance, and in a few months I could understand almost everything she said. Before the end of the first year, I read William Tell with the greatest delight. Indeed, I think my cat's attacking my hand. Indeed, I think I made much more progress in German than I did in any other studies. I found French much more difficult. I studied it with Madame Oliver, a French lady who did not know the manual alphabet and who was obliged to give her instruction orally. I could not read her lips easily, so my progress was much slower than in German. I managed, however, to read La Médecine Louis again. It was very amusing, but I did not like it nearly so well as William Tell. My progress in lip reading and speech was not what my teachers and I had hoped and expected it would be. It was my ambition to speak like other people, and my teachers believed that this could be accomplished, but although we worked hard and faithfully, yet we did not quite reach our goal. I suppose we aimed too high, and disappointment was therefore inevitable. I still regarded arithmetic as a series of pitfalls. I hung about the dangerous frontiers of guess, avoiding with infinite trouble to myself and others the broad valley of reason. When I was not guessing, I was jumping at conclusions, and this fault, in addition to my dullness, aggravated my difficulties more than was right or necessary. I got you, kiddo. But although these disappointments caused me great depression at times, I pursued my other studies with unflagging interest, especially physical geography. It was a joy to learn the secrets of nature, how, in the picturesque language of the Old Testament, the winds are made to blow from the four corners of the heavens, how the vapors ascend from the ends of the earth, how rivers are cut out among the rocks and mountains overturned by the roots, and in what many ways man may overcome many forces mightier than himself. The 2 years in New York were happy ones, and I look back at them with genuine pleasure. I remember especially the walks we all took together every day in Central Park, the only part of the city that was congenial to me. I never lost a jot of my delight in the great park. I loved to have it described every time I entered it, for it was beautiful in all its aspects, and these aspects were so many that it was beautiful in a different way each day of the 2 years I spent in New York. In the spring we made excursions to various places of interest. We sailed on the Hudson River and wandered about on its green banks, of which Bryant loved to sing. I lived the simple, wild grandeur of the Palisades. Among the places I visited were West Point, Tarrytown, the home of Washington Irvine, where I walked through Sleepy Hollow. The teachers at the Wright Humanisson School were always planning how they might give the pupils every advantage that those who hear enjoy, how they might make much of few tendencies and passive memories in the cases of the little ones, and lead them out of the cramping circumstances in which their lives were set. Before I left New York, these bright days were darkened by the greatest sorrow that I have ever borne, except the death of my father. Mr. John Spaulding of Boston died in February 1896. Only those who knew and loved him best can understand what his friendship meant to me. He who made everyone happy in a beautiful, unobtrusive way was most kind and tender to Miss Sullivan and me, so long as we felt his loving presence and knew that he took a watchful interest in our work. Fraught with so many difficulties, we could not be discouraged. His going away left a vacancy in our lives that has never been fulfilled. Okay, that was Helen Keller, The Story of My Life, chapter 17. Okay, I know my cat interrupted us a lot. One of my cats interrupted me a lot. That chapter talked about Helen Keller spending 2 years away from her home in Alabama at a school for New York, and it describes how she was attempting, her goal was to learn to speak like other people, and she was unable to obtain that. Her and her teachers thought that with her endurance and her will that she would be able to accomplish it, but she says herself they fell short of that goal. However, just in the fact of trying for the goal makes her a success. Because the only person that isn't a success is the person that doesn't try. Because if you don't try, you never know if you were or could succeed. So, you know, I always tell people, or I don't tell people, I've heard people say, if you know what you want to do and you have a plan of action, that's the first thing, that's the most important thing, is just getting started and just knowing what you want to do. Most people wander through their whole lives, never know what they want to do. You could be sweeping up the street, working as a janitor, you could be sleeping on a park bench, but if you know what you're going to want to do in life, then you're a success. You know who Daniel Craig is? He plays James Bond. He's the most recent James Bond in the last few movies. He used to sleep on a park bench when he was a struggling actor in London, England. He was homeless on a park bench, but he knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he still considered himself a success, even though at that moment it may not have appeared so. But he still was a success because he knew where he wanted to go, and he had a plan, and he was working towards it.